Hi guys, my name is Moran. Welcome to my series Getting Personal, where I gather different stories from Reddit. And this week I thought, after the very heavy episode we had last week, we should do something lighthearted, something that will make you feel good, something that might boost your mood. So today I have cute stories for you. So without further ado, let's just dive in. First one is from Pointless Stories, and it is I made a card for the pizza delivery guy. My family used to go down to a mid-sized city in Florida every year to see my grandparents. We're from very rural Michigan, and they leave for the winter because it's cold and they are retired, so they have nothing better to do. One night, when I was about 8, my grandparents decided to order a pizza. In my hometown, there is no pizza delivery. The local pizza place doesn't deliver, and nowhere else is within range. I heard pizza delivery and thought, someone delivering pizza just for us? How magical, how wonderful, how generous. So my little 8-year-old self ran over to the craft supplies my grandma kept for me and got to work. Cotton balls, glitter, those pom-pom things, poor marker drawings, everything was fair game. After the about 20 minutes it took for the pizza guy to get there, I had my masterpiece. I apologized to the pizza delivery guy. In retrospect, that thing was covered in glitter, only held on by Elmer's glue, and I probably covered his card in craft herpes. I ran to the door as soon as I heard the doorbell. I beamed and handed my work to the guy, who just looked mildly confused, said thank you, handed us the pizza, and left. To this day, I wonder if he still has it. Not every pizza delivery guy gets a handmade thank you card after all. I would totally keep that if I was the pizza delivery guy. I also really loved the phrase craft herpes. I don't know why, but anyway, it's funny. The OP comes across as a creative and very fun person to be around. And yeah, I just imagine Jess from New Girl. If you know, you know. Let's move to the next story, and it's from True Off My Chest. I love my husband more than anything. I, 23 female, love my husband, 27 male, more than anything in this entire world. I would go to the ends of the earth for him if it would make him happy. My entire life I've been left behind or forgotten, but every day he makes me feel wanted and loved. I want nothing more than to spend the rest of forever with him. Every day I wake up and realize how lucky I am to have someone so kind, loving, supportive, gentle, and understanding as him. I wish I could shout from the rooftops and let everyone know what an amazing person he is. We've been through a lot these last couple of years, but it's only made our connection stronger. I wish I could get him everything he's ever dreamed of because he deserves it. Before he came into my life, I seriously thought that I was not worthy of true love, that I would just end up rotting away in some hospital. But we've saved each other, and every day is a blessing. That being next to him is all I could ever want and need. I find this a very heartwarming sentiment. I wish all of the people who are married or have partners would feel this way about each other. The world would be a much better place, a much kinder place if everyone was so happy as this woman is, because, you know, I always found it very baffling that most of the married couples, at least the ones that I know, will insist on shitting on each other in the presence of their friends or just generally, and I don't get it. I don't understand why you would consistently stay with a person that doesn't make you happy, that doesn't respect you, that you don't feel love for, that doesn't make you feel appreciated and valued and supported. I mean, obviously there are toxic relationships. Obviously it's not as simple, and for a lot of people it's sometimes hard to get out of these situations, but I'm not talking about like straight up abusive or toxic relationships. I'm just saying that if you don't really appreciate your partner, don't love them enough, don't find them to be the best for you, and if they don't make you feel like you would love to spend the rest of your life with them and you would love to keep making them happy, then what the Are you doing? What are you doing? Let's move on to the next story. My best friend met his wife in his shower. At the time, my best friend was living in an apartment building and he told me about a really pretty girl who had moved in next door to him. He hadn't really spoken to her other than a few hellos when passing each other in the hallway. One morning, he was walking out of his apartment to go to work when she stopped him. She said that her shower was broken and she had an important job interview in an hour. She said the maintenance people probably wouldn't be able to fix it until later that day or the next day. My friend told her that he was already late for work but that she could use his shower. He gave her his spare key and he would get it from her when he got back from work. He also told her she could use his shower tomorrow too if hers wasn't still fixed. She was very grateful. He then left for work. He says that he had a very hectic day at work and completely forgot about giving her a spare key. The next morning, he woke up and went over to his bathroom to find the bathroom door closed. He found it odd as he wouldn't normally close the bathroom door, but was still kind of half asleep. Upon opening the door, she was standing there stark naked, about to jump into the shower. He panicked and quickly closed the door in state of shock and panic. It turns out that her shower was still broken and she had knocked on his door to see if she could use it. He was still asleep and didn't hear the knock, and she figured he had already left for work, so she let herself in. A very interesting way to meet someone. 10 years later, they're now married and have 2 kids. Now, you see, this again sounds like something straight out of a cheesy novel, but if this is real, how cute is that? I'm just like a sucker for a good story of How I Met Your Mother. So anyway, let's proceed to the next story. I hid a pet octopus on my submarine. There I was, hundreds of feet below the cresting waves of the Pacific Ocean, bored out of my mind. At this time, I lived in the torpedo room where my bed rack was nestled right up to one of the numerous 22-inch long torpedoes. My life consisted of work, studying, sleeping, and the occasional movie. This was before iPhones. Now, one day after we had shot a water slug, practice shot no weapon loaded, I was there to drain the tube and inspect it, so I climbed in and scooted down toward the forward end. Remember, over 22 inches long. And I got closer to the muzzle that separated me from the outside ocean. I noticed something moving. I swung my light over and could gather it was some kind of sea life. So this quickly became a side quest. I scooted back out and retrieved the boat hook and light. When I went back in, that's when I discovered the creature was an octopus that must have swam into the tube when the outside doors were open. Crazy odds. So I was able to coax the creature to the end where I was able to transfer it to a bucket. Once I had the little guy in the bucket, I filled it with seawater and stashed it away. I remember the octopus looking up at me, like really analyzing me. I would do regular water changes and even snuck back shrimp from chow to try and feed it. This lasted maybe a week before I was discovered and ordered to put the octopus back in the tube for it to be flooded and released. It made for quite an entertaining period and some fun sea stories. It was many years ago. I was much younger and far more mischief prone than I am these days. I don't know, I think this is hilarious. You just got yourself a pet octopus on a submarine, and I think that's beautiful. It reminds me of that one time when one of the nurses that worked with my father brought in to work a little crow with a broken wing, or like not broken, it was just damaged, and she didn't know what to do, so she brought it back in like a cardboard box. And my father is sometimes weird, especially when it comes to animals. He likes to, help and save things and whatever. So he brought it back with him from work. And I was about, I think, 14 or something. I was very deep into the start of my goth phase. Well, not a phase since it's still not over. But anyway, little me thought, oh my God, now I have a pet crow. So my dumbass would wake up at like 4 a.m. to feed this little tiny boo-boo raw meat. It was disgusting, but I was so into it. And I kept it for maybe like 1.5 half month, my parents were driven to insanity because the bird would cry out when it heard its people outside. But I thought genuinely we can make it work. I was thinking of building it like a huge thing on our balcony so it can live like a full life. But one day I woke up and the bird was gone, and turned out that the wing healed. So my parents decided to let it go and not tell me because they knew I would throw a huge fit. Well, the bird is free. Hopefully it's still somewhere in the wild in my home country, but the fit was still thrown. But I think pet octopus is way cooler than my story, so let's just move to the next one. I only realized how much my boyfriend loves me after watching our sex tape. A month ago, I found out that I love seeing myself in mirror while doing it with my boyfriend. Then, after back and forth, I feel ready to have my own sex tape. I'm really conscious about my looks. I grew up hearing you better be smart or no one will accept you because you're ugly, and having a prettier sister makes it worse. I'm better now, not really that insecure, but I still pick on myself. I'm afraid that seeing how my body and face look like while having sex gonna make me hate myself more. Well, I was right. The first thing I did when watching it was picking on my body and face, how this look weird and ugly, and how unappetizing it is. I feel like most of the people look very unappetizing during sex, to be honest. I turned it off and went to sleep. The next morning, I tried to brave myself. No one will see it, let's just watch and enjoy it. Well, it's hard to actually watch it when someone in it isn't visually appealing. So I tried to focus on my boyfriend. To my surprise, he spent 80% of time watching my face with a stupid smile on his face plastered from the start to end. When I was high on pleasure and can't even open my eyes, he was looking at my face like he actually enjoyed seeing how I look. Not on my body or just keeping his eyes shut, he kept softly staring at me. I feel so happy finding that out because honestly, in the back of my mind, I thought my boyfriend was only with me because we have high sexual compatibility. I never once trusted him when he said I look nice/pretty. I don't know why I feel so bubbly inside, yet I have no one I can tell this story to. Low. So here I am. And no, I'm not one of those people who know they're pretty but boast how ugly they are for attention. I'm a person who, when I compliment myself because I feel good, people will laugh on reflex because they think I'm being delusional. Well, first, I want to say you don't have great people around you if they will laugh at that. But generally, I found this story very cute because I think it's a common thing, especially for women, since we're heavier on criticizing ourselves, to not be sure in our appearance and to not realize how other people might see us. And for her to discover how much her boyfriend likes her, how he appreciates her, and how loving he is very, very sweet. And I kind of get her point about the fact that she used to not believe her boyfriend when he said she looked nice or pretty, because I swear to God, I'm with my husband for almost 10 years now, and I still never fully believe him when he says I'm beautiful. So there's that. Those things run deep in our mind, and yes, it's a problem, and yes, we should work on that. But it is very cute when you actually realize that the person is not saying it just to make you feel better or just to say it. Let's move to the next one. This one is from Pointless Stories. Also, I take my cats on secret walks in my apartment building. I get home from work between 12 a.m. and 1 a.m. When I arrive home to my third floor apartment, both my cats are usually waiting by the door. When I open the door, they run into the hallway. I put my stuff down and join them. My little one, Gracie, usually runs back into the apartment shortly thereafter. My other cat, Lauka, Lauka, a 15-pound gentle giant, walks down the hallway with me, sniffing the carpet and the walls. There are 15 apartments on my floor, which is shaped like a giant U. The elevator is in the middle of the U. Lauka and I make our way to the elevator area where she likes to put her paws up on the windowsills if the windows are open. Then we make our way into the second part of the U. That hallway has a very squeaky floor, so I just stand at one end and watch her make her way down the hallway, sniffing everything. After a few minutes, she'll come back to me and we'll walk back to my apartment. By the time I open the door to let her in, Gracie has usually gotten up her courage to come out, so I walk her around the U as well. She's a tiny little 8.5-pound kitty. She also enjoys sniffing the carpet and walls, but she's more skittish than Lauka and will run back to the apartment at the slightest unusual sound. While Gracie and I are in the hallway, Lauka starts meowing loudly from the inside the apartment. I think because she wants to go out in the hallway again and she knows Gracie and I are out there. There are cameras in the hallway and I know I'm not supposed to be doing this, but so far no one had complained. I try to be quiet. If I was told I had to stop, I would, but I hope I never get caught. This made my heart tear up a little bit. I think having any type of ritual with your cats is adorable and necessary, and we should all, bond with our pets as much as we can, because the saying, it actually makes me almost cry every time I say it: they will be your best friend, not all your life, but you will be their best friend till the end of theirs. So bond with your pets, make them feel as loved as you can, never pass up an opportunity to spend time with them, to brighten up their lives, and just generally take care of them. So let's move to the next story before I start crying like a little. I adopted a kitten, female, from a house, and on the way back home, another male kitten on the road approaches me and I took him home too. I got a sudden urge to get a kitten. Instagram helped me find a cute little kitten in need of home. I went to the house at night to get the kitten, and on my way back we stopped at a petrol pump and I had to get out of the vehicle for some time with my little kitten. She was in a basket, and seeing that basket, or seeing her, another kitten who was staying near that petrol pump approached us and sat there in front of the basket. So I opened the basket lid for my female kitten to look around and to see if they too would like to get along for some time. They seemed fine, and suddenly I thought, this poor fella stays here, what if I took him home? And I asked around if he had family or was he alone. Turns out he was alone, and the employees there were so happy to know that I was open to take him home. Even some passengers who were present to witness this were smiling ear to ear. I did not know if that was the best decision at the time, but looking back, I can't imagine my life without these two cuties anymore. I love them both to death, and I feel God sent him my way for my female cat and for me too. He is such a raw and wild soul. I just love the way he is. I'm glad I took him home that day. Edit: it's been almost 5 months I got them, and yes, after my female's first heat, I got them both neutered, and I want to add photo in this edit but not able to as I am new on Reddit and might miss some options or tool, but there is the link to their Instagram. I'm not even gonna comment on that because it just makes my soul feel good, okay? I love kind people who will, first of all, not buy animals but adopt them. Second of all, people who, when they are able to, will do something crazy as pick a cat from a street and give them home and actually care for them. So that's amazing, and I really, really respect people like that because not everyone has the heart for that. Next story. I met an old couple at the movie theater. A couple years ago, I was at the theater with my boyfriend and we were seeing No Time to Die, a James Bond movie. After the movie, he had to go to the bathroom and I was waiting outside the bathroom for him. There was an old man standing outside as well, and I don't know why, but I decided to ask him what movie he was seeing. He said they had just seen the new James Bond movie, and I said I had just seen that one as well. Then his wife comes out of the bathroom and he tells me that on their first date they went and saw the very first James Bond movie together. I just thought it was a really wholesome and sweet moment, and I randomly remember it sometimes. I don't know what it is. Probably my stupid ass pining for cute love stories. But when I hear that old couples will have these sweet rituals or do these very adorable things, I just can't help myself. It just makes my day every single time, because with the amount of broken relationships I've seen, with the amount of sadness and grief and pain that goes around, encountering those couples that have been together for like 30 years, 50 years, and still love each other enough to, dance together, to go on dates together, to have these little traditions. It's so refreshing and kind of gives me hope in love and humanity in general. Anyhow, the last cute story from Pointless Stories before I go. And this one is a little girl thought I was a fairy. So for a little context, I have very distinct sense of style slash aesthetic, which was accurately described by friends as being the bright purple haired love baby of Stevie Nicks and Morticia Adams. Naturally, this means I stand out like a sore thumb. So I get a lot of looks from people while I'm out and about, but especially from children. I don't know if it's the fact my hair is Barney the dinosaur purple, I have a lot of visible tattoos and piercings, or if I just give off a particular vibe. But whatever it is, it makes me very interesting to young kids. My partner and I went to a local mall slash shopping center for a bumble around, and after a while I needed to use the bathroom. I went in and it was pretty much empty, but just as I was finishing up, a lady came in with a newborn in the pram and a little girl in tow. She had the most beautiful long auburn hair, and I'd estimate she was about 5/6 years old. As I left the stall to go wash my hands, the mother gave me a polite smile and the daughter let out a gasp. She blurted out, "Mommy, look, that lady is like a fairy." It made me chuckle, and the mom just apologized on her daughter's behalf. I assured her there was no need, as I'm quite used to comments like this from little ones. The little girl took a few steps toward me and said, "I'm very sorry for shouting. Are you a real fairy? Where are your wings?" I replied, "I'm a real fairy, yes, but I'm hiding in your world because I'm on a top secret mission from the Fairy King himself. That's why you can't see my wings. I have to hide them so people don't find out my secret. I collect rocks, minerals, and gemstones, and almost always have some kind of treasure hiding in my bag." So I reached in and found a little clear quartz point and held it out for her, inviting her to take it. I said, "This is a magic crystal that will bring you and your family good luck every time you listen to your mommy and do as she says. Now, if you promise not to tell anyone my secret, and if it's okay with your mommy, then it's yours to keep." Her little eyes lit up and begged her mom to let her have it. She agreed, and she came skipping back over to take it. The mom thanked me and said that this will probably make her week, as she's obsessed with fairies. I don't always give little ones something like that, and never without the permission of their parents slash guardians, etc. But it really did make my day, seeing this little girl so excited, thinking she's met a real life fairy. Even though I don't necessarily enjoy children, I thought this was extremely adorable. I'm not a big fan, actually, of lying to children about, fairies being real and Santa Claus and whatever, but at the same time, I kind of get it. When they are so young, maybe there is no harm done. I mean, I thought fairies were real until I was like, well, I kind of think they are real now. So, yeah, what was I saying? That was cute. I hope y'all enjoyed these little nuggets of cuteness as much as I did, and leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, if you're still here, though I doubt it. And I will see you with another video next week. Bye.